Hello, ladies and gentlemen, craft spirit enthusiasts, and those interested in the intoxicating world of craft distilleries, cideries, meaderies, wineries, and the occasional foray into breweries. It's Rich Shane, and welcome to Fermented Adventure, the podcast, where we bring you the fascinating people that are making the mash, fermenting, distilling, bottling, pouring, and delivering to you some of the finest libations in the world. Before we get started, here are a few housekeeping items. Thank you for bringing the podcast into wherever you are and whatever you're doing. We truly are grateful that you have chosen to listen and make us part of your day. It would mean the world to us if you left a 5-star review. This helps us climb in the rankings, and it makes it easier for others to find us. Don't hesitate to leave us your comments as well. If the podcast didn't meet your expectations, tell us why. We're always striving to improve. You can find us at fermentedadventure.com. We are on Instagram and Facebook as Fermented Adventure. Email us at fermentedadventure@gmail.com. All right, FA Nation, let's meet our guests. We're here at Wallace Dry Goods. She's Robin Cummiskey. I'm Rich Shane. Dawn Ranieri's here, and this is Fermented Adventure, the podcast. Robin, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me, Rich. I'm excited to chat.
Okay, so we discovered Wallace Dry Goods on our way out of Ardmore. We saw this building with these bottles and beautifully decorated, and we were on our way, but we said, we got to stop in here and see what this is all about. What is Wallace Dry Goods?
So we are a non-alcoholic bottle shop. We carry everything from non-alcoholic beer and wine to spirits. Also, beverages that aren't trying to mimic any alcohol, just are delicious and meant for adults. But we also really want to provide the full, drinking experience. So we have barware and glassware and bitters and mixers, really something for everybody to make the drink they want, regardless of the alcohol content.
Now, how did all this get started for you? The whole idea of non-alcoholic or no ABV, how's that start for you?
Yeah, it's been an adventure for sure. I stopped drinking myself a few years ago, and I noticed just how many more options were coming onto the market. I also started my career, had my career in retail. So I, was on the fashion and accessories side of things, had always kind of thought I might have my own business one day, but knew how much would go in behind the scenes of operating your own store. So if I chose to do it, I knew I'd have to really, really believe in it. And these products really helped me to stop drinking. I really wanted to have an adult drinking experience. I just, didn't want to have alcohol in mine. So with the assortment just getting better and better and wider, I felt like it was a great opportunity to bring this to the public and to help them, explore these options, whether they drink alcohol on a regular basis or not.
Dawn and I come across these wonderful experiences all the time, but we don't go out and open up a whole business about it. You talk about some of that experience for you as far as trying these no ABV, low ABV, or non-alcoholic beverages, as you talk about. But where does that seed get planted to say, I've got this retail experience, but I want to open up this beautiful space for people to come and explore and have a different world that they're not used to?
Yeah, I'm really passionate about creating experiences for people. I think that that's a huge part of the retail experience. And I wanted a place for people to be able to come in and have someone to talk about these things with, maybe be able to try one or two things, be able to purchase just a can of a non-alcoholic beer rather than a whole case of it and to pay for shipping without having even had a conversation about it. This is new stuff, and I wanted people to feel like they had a place to explore it in a safe and accessible way.
One of the things that stands out right away is you've got this bar, but it's not a bar. And you have the ability, or you do create these beautiful cocktails, these wonderful, very eye-catching, the barware is just beautiful. Even that in itself, you've created that space. And what are some of the experiences, or what are some of the conversations you're having when people come into Wallace Dry Goods? Pardon the interruption. Thank you so much for listening to Fermented Adventure, the podcast. Could you do us a favor? Hit that follow button. It makes it easier for others to find us, and it helps us climb in the rankings. Take a screenshot of the podcast, post it, tag us, and let everyone know that you listen to the Fermented Adventure podcast. Now, back to our podcast.
So you're right, we did build basically 75% of a bar because I really did want to show, anybody that comes into the store, I wanted to show the drinks in the context of that space. These are products that are not meant for children. These are adult beverages, and I wanted them to see that for themselves. So in that vein, we also have mixology classes, we hold ticketed tastings, we're also starting to do some private events. This last weekend we held a 40th birthday party, we've had a bachelorette party in the shop. And it's really been a lot of fun. We're also too working with area bars and restaurants to get more of this product on their menu, because as important as it is to have it in your own home for yourself, I want to see these products out and about in the spaces that my friends and my family are in, whether they drink alcohol or not. Like these are meant to be enjoyed in social settings, and I don't think it should be restricted to just someone's house because it doesn't have alcohol in it.
The events that you put on and the way that you help people understand that, yes, you can take that spirit, but you can also mix it with things, and you show them how to do that. Because I think a lot of the times with that no alcohol space, low ABV space, it's almost like you expect to drink something standalone, that there's not going to be an opportunity. And you have those things, the standalone things that you can drink. And we have that Joni, the product there. But you could drink those standalone. But I think what you do is you help to elevate somebody else's experience, as you talk about, by giving them, hey, this is just setting up a full bar too, and I'm going to show you how to utilize these products.
Yeah, absolutely, because they are nuanced. Because at the end of the day, they don't have alcohol in them. So is a non-alcoholic bourbon going to be the exact same experience as an alcoholic bourbon? No, it's not. It's going to be a little bit lighter in mouthfeel. The flavor profiles are not going to be exactly the same. But also in the same way that when you go into a liquor store and you have one bourbon next to another bourbon, they don't taste identical either. So for us, it's about, giving people permission and the confidence to just start mixing it with things that they think will taste good, because they probably will. So whether that's making an old fashioned, or you could do a bourbon and Coke, or, you want to make a margarita, you can use these spirits in place of the traditional spirit. Or if you would still drink alcohol, you could just make a lower alcohol drink. Make an old fashioned with 1 ounce of traditional bourbon and 1 ounce of non-alcoholic. Throw some bitters in and a little bit of simple syrup, and then you have a full drink, but it has half the alcohol. You really have to choose your own adventure with these products, and it's just about, mixing them to your liking.
Those are some great ideas. And we've had some of those cocktails with you as well. That Aperol Spritz that you make. First of all, that's a beautiful cocktail in itself. But, the way there's a vibrancy on that, and the layers of flavor, the bitterness that's there, the wine that stands out that you make that with, that sparkling wine that's like a Prosecco.
Right.
It really, look, I've said this before, that if you handed me that cocktail and I didn't know there was no alcohol in it, I might leave. If I had a couple of them, I might, in a way, leave thinking I had alcohol in my system. That's how well that cocktail mimicked, in a way, the flavor profile of what you'd expect in alcohol, but no alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, and you asked too about, what, gave me the courage, or, said like, okay, let's actually do this. It's the product. It's really good. I am so lucky to work with an incredible, talented group of makers that are creating products that do a great job of mimicking the layered flavors. And like you mentioned with the Aperol Spritz, we use absinthe, blood orange, bittersweet. It's bitter, it's citrusy, it has a hint of sweetness. Like it really does mimic an Aperol or a Campari. I also use that product as a Campari when I make a non-alcoholic Negroni. So it's product that you can use it in a bunch of different ways. You are focusing on their flavor and what that will bring to your drink. And yeah, I mean, without the quality in these products, my shop wouldn't work. Someone would come in and try it for the novelty of it and they'd never come back. That's not a sustainable business. This product is good.
Well, speaking of a non-alcoholic Negroni, we didn't try this yet, but I know you carry the Pathfinder, and the Pathfinder has a ready-to-drink Negroni that they've produced. So when we swing by next time, we definitely want to pick that up and try that. But and I'm trying to remember because Dawn was telling me about a grapefruit cocktail that you made, and
Yeah.
that was just so refreshing. Those are one of the things that, again, there was that bite to it that,
Mhm.
for me, it was nice and spicy, and I think in a way it slowed me down to really savor and enjoy the drink versus just gulping it down because it was so tasty I could do that.
Yeah, that is a product called Amethyst. They are in our what we call our botanical spirit and aperitif section. So again, not mimicking anything in particular, but they do mimic the bite or the burn of alcohol. So they will use citric acid to, on their own, it's going to taste spicy, but in the context of a drink. So that drink that I made Dawn, it was their grapefruit basil from Amethyst, just with a fever tree grapefruit soda. So it just allows you to sip it a little bit slower and enjoy like that bite that you would get from a traditional alcohol drink.
All right, so I've been dying to try this because one of the things that stands out for me when I come in your shop, first of all, I love your level of being an ambassador for all of these products. For you're an ambassador for the movement, and you really take the your whole shop. You think through every inch of your shop, and that must be your retail side, as to how you display and market. But everything there is like so eye catching and so wonderful. But I also think it pays homage to the brands that you're working with. That if you see that on the shelf, you're captivated, you're drawn to it because of how they're branding their products too. But you've got this such level of the way you display things. And one of these that it was just St. Patrick's Day, and we've got this the Bad Arse Irish Red, and this is from Go, and I've never heard of them before.
Go Brewing is an incredible line of non-alcoholic beer. They only do NA beer. They have such a wide range of styles at this point now. You can get everything from a stout to this is an Irish red. We also have IPAs, and they have another one that I'm really loving that has like it's almost like a Corona with lime and salt. So they really have a great variety. I know that everyone knows and loves Athletic. I think that they make an incredible product, but Go Brewing is on their heels as far as just, great quality across the board.
I may say this several times, and if I do over time, just say, duh. I mean, because I open this and the nose of this, it's there's it's an ale, right?
Yeah.
It's got I got the grain of it. I've got there's a fruitiness to it. Um, Everything about this is what I would say. If you gave this to me, I don't know even the smell. I would know the difference.
Well, and that's the thing, like especially with the wine and the beer and some of the spirits themselves, they're alcohol removed. So they make traditional wine and beer. It goes through the same ingredient selection process. The level of quality is there from the beginning. They brew or, they create the wine through all the same fermentation processes, and then they're able to pull the alcohol out. So most of the all of you're left with all of the flavor and just without the alcohol.
My experience is that, yeah, there's flavor here. It's an ale. It's exactly what I would expect it to be. Where if I've been out cutting the lawn or working, it's a hot, sweaty day. I'm at the ball game. I can even go to my kids' games if I wanted to, and I'm now drinking a beer. I don't have to worry about getting in the car now and
Yeah.
driving the kids home. I can have several. What I'm just trying to say is I can have several of these, and this is really refreshing. This is delicious. That's one of the things consistently that all the things I've had with you have been refreshing and
Well, thank
fun.
Well, and I think that's part of the fun of having the shop too, is being able to see these light bulb moments happen with customers where, they do drink, but they came in and they were curious about it. Maybe they try a beer, or we talk about, the 50-50 old fashioned. It's also, you're going to a concert, you're going to a baseball game, like you said, have a couple alcoholic drinks, but you have to drive home, or you have, a meeting the next morning, or whatever it is that you don't want that, let's say, third or fourth alcoholic drink. Doesn't mean you have to drink water or you have to go home. You can have a non-alcoholic beverage, be just as satisfied by it, and still have, you're still able to reach the goals that you had wanted to.
There's so much about what I see that you do that allows people to be involved without having to be involved. You can be a part of what's happening if you'd like to, and without, again, yeah, you can stop at a certain point or decide you don't want to start again because of a lot of the packaging, a lot of the branding that goes into these products that I don't think anybody would be able to tell the difference. Just and some of these bottles, like the Joni, these are so catching. I think people would stop and say, "What is that? Is that like the new trend? Am I starting a new trend? What would
Yeah.
that be?" So that's another thing you're providing.
Well, and I mean, I have to give credit where credit is due too. To just go back to the makers of these products, most of them, the people that created the actual beverage, they're still involved, if not all of the behind the scenes business. So they are doing the marketing, they're doing the sales, they're designing the packaging. They're really putting their heart and soul into every level of detail. And that's why, it was really important for me when I was designing the shop. How can I make this a beautiful space, but a space that also showcases the work that they're doing?
What's wonderful again, if I hand this can to somebody, malt beverage with rich malts and a touch of caramel. Ingredients: water, barley, hops, and yeast. That's a beer.
Yeah,
That's exactly what that is.
it is.
And I think the nice thing about it is while it doesn't talk about, the calories, because in some cases like this Joni, it's 35 calories. The other one is 40 calories. I can also feel like if I'm in a eating lifestyle or I'm in a consuming lifestyle, I'm also not the calories, right? They're
Yeah.
not there either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, alcohol turns to sugar, right? So when you remove the alcohol, you're already moving a significant chunk of it. But also, a lot of the people that are choosing not to drink or drinking less, they are more calorie conscious. So the brands are aware of that. And they are, where they can, they're making cuts on that. But Go Brewing or a Partake is another one that has lower calories. Like a lot of them are, 50 calories at the most for a beer. Like that's really low compared to an alcoholic beer.
Yeah, and it makes me again feel good because now I can have more than just one for a number of reasons. And if I'm saying, look, I want to watch my calories, whatever, I'm not doing 110 or 200 calories per beer, right?
Right. And that speaks to our ethos too at Wallace Dry Goods, where it's cheers to choices. Like all we're doing here is providing options for you to make the choice that's right for you, whether that involves alcohol or not. When I was first, starting or when I was first dreaming up the shop and the brand and what we really were representing, there wasn't a lot of conversation about not drinking alcohol that wasn't somehow attacking drinking alcohol. So, alcohol is poison. Nobody should be drinking it. What are you doing if you're drinking alcohol? I wanted to create a space and be part of the conversation that was this is here if you want it and not if you don't. And in the same way that I don't want to be judged for not drinking, I absolutely have no opinion on whether or not somebody else does. And I think that at the time, and I'm glad to see the conversation is evolving, there wasn't a lot of that. So we really want people to feel empowered to make the choice that's right for them. And we provide the tools to help them do that.
Cheers to choices. That's your brainchild. And how did you come up with that?
So I worked with a team of really incredible women, whether they were in branding or helping me design the website. And this one woman named Margaret, she helped me develop the strategy for the brand. And we were talking about, creating a safe space and letting people, make choices for themselves and just being in a drinking drinking culture, and I have to give credit where credit's due. Margaret came up with Cheers to Choices for me, and it clicked.
Well, here's cheers to Margaret.
Cheers to Margaret.
How did you come up with the name Wallace Dry Goods? Because initially, that name, that again, that's what made us stop. We saw your signage, but we looked inside and we're like, with a curiosity, what is Wallace Dry Goods? So how did you come up with the name for that?
I love that. I love that the name makes people pause because I didn't want it to be so black and white. I didn't want people to be able to look at our branding or look at the sign and think that they know what it is because this is something to explore and there's a lot to learn about it. So Wallace Dry Goods is, my middle name is Wallace. It's a family name. I really, family is really important to me and I wanted to have there be some a stake in that in the name for the business. But also with dry goods, I wanted it to be something fun and playful. And yes, do some people come in wondering where they can buy their beans by the pound or, expecting it to be more of a general store? Sure, but they came in and they were curious and they were a lot of times pleasantly surprised, not even knowing that these products exist, let alone that there was a whole shop for them.
You've been providing this experience, this shop for about a year now. And share some of the stories, the interactions, some of the experiences you've had with people when they come in and what their just take on everything is.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that still get me are when people come in and they pause and kind of take the space in, and some will get teary, others just get this huge smile on their faces because, we're talking a lot about the people that are still choosing to drink alcohol, but there are plenty of people that are not. And this is one of the first places for them that they can come in and feel safe just wandering and exploring and knowing that everything in there is for them if they choose it to be. So I had a woman come in who had stopped drinking maybe 6 months prior and she was about to go on a bachelorette party and her friends are all big drinkers and she wanted to be a part of it, but she was really nervous. And then knowing that she could come into our shop and make a couple, 6 packs for herself. And I think she did get ingredients for the Aperol spritz too. Not only did she have something for her to drink herself that felt safe and felt right for her, but she had something really cool to talk about and to share with her friends. And it gets me every time that it also means something to other people. And I love that. And I appreciate that they include, Wallace Dry Goods in that experience.
Yeah, that word inclusion resonates with me because whether perhaps you're on dietary restrictions, pregnancy, um, just by choice that you
Yeah.
talk about, it really, this is a lane on the highway that has not been accessible for many, many people.
Yep.
And now you are really giving people a chance to be a part of that.
Well, and you're right. There are a million and one reasons why people aren't drinking in that moment or for the rest of their life or whatever it is. That was the other thing that I really was important to me when I was creating the spaces. I wanted people to know that if they wanted to share their story and their reason for why they weren't drinking, I would love to hear it. But that is not a requirement for the shop. I had an experience right before I really decided, like, okay, I'm going to do this, where I went to a restaurant that actually was known for making really good non-alcoholic drinks. And I was chatting with a couple next to me about non-alcoholic drinks because that's all I talk about these days. And the gentleman in the couple, he asked me, was I not drinking just because, or was it because I was in recovery? And I know he didn't mean anything by it, but that's a really personal question. And people who aren't drinking, forever or even just in that moment, that's a question that gets asked all day, every day. And it's really nobody's business because a lot of times there isn't a real answer for it, let alone one that you want to share with somebody that you just met. So I did want our shop to be a place that people could come in and just feel safe and at ease. And, if they want to share, that's great. But if they don't, they no requirement to.
You also have an array of THC beverages as well.
Yeah, we do. So we have, let's see, we carry 3 different brands now. They're all low dose CBD THC drinks. They provide a level of relaxation for some people. So that is the one thing in the shop that I would consider intoxicating. Not in a bad way, just as an option for people who, are still looking for something to help them unwind at the end of the night. But yeah, we carry can, we carry Artet. So those are more like seltzers with some fruit flavors to them. We also have a new pale ale beer that includes THC and CBD as well. All low dose, all legal. But yeah, I mean, it's a great option for people too who had been looking for something like that but didn't really know where to find it.
I'm going to open this Joni. I've had the Verjus drink Blanc. I've
Mhm.
had that before and really enjoyed it. But this is the Verjus drink Rouge. And if I said that first word wrong, you can correct me.
No, you got it right.
All right, good. I've been practicing on that. So that's good. For me, this is one of those trend setting cans. And this one of
Yeah.
these trend setting beverages that I think covers many spectrums because people are looking for that new latest greatest that hey take a picture because I'm an influencer kind of beverage.
Yeah.
You're an influencer. How do you come across some of these wonderful brands that maybe new to the scene or maybe people haven't heard of yet, but then you bring them to them?
Yeah, I mean, Joni is an incredible brand. It's one of the first brands that we started working with. It's created by this woman named Claire out of Brooklyn, New York. And Joni is actually named after Joan of Arc. But it's a verjus. So they take pre-harvest wine grapes that would normally be tossed out. They use those and supplement them with flavors. Like in the Rouge, it's what is it? It's cardamom, allspice, and rosemary. The Blanc has celery, basil, and tarragon. So they're just really interesting flavors that aren't trying to be something else. They're just nice and refreshing. I also cook with them. I made a risotto and threw in the Blanc with that. So they're versatile. I mean, I know that's part of something that I miss is having a glass of wine while I cook dinner. Now I can do that and throw a little bit of Joni in as I go.
I love the Blanc, but I'm a cardamom allspice. I love those flavors. I love rosemary.
Mhm.
So this is like hitting on all my happy flavor spots.
Yep.
And again, I can certainly see taking this everywhere and enjoying this anywhere.
Yep.
And just this is like I'm working. I got one of these at my desk.
Yeah.
I'm out and I want to everybody's carrying their little the seltzers that we've seen all over.
Yep.
I've got mine too. There is no place that any of these cannot be taken to that you just can't assimilate and just have fun. There's so
Yeah.
much fun here.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, and speaking with the versatility with that one, we would make essentially like a mulled wine with it, where I would just heat it up and throw a cinnamon stick in it. I think that you touched on a great point too, like whether you're out at a tailgate or you're just in a park, these products, especially the ones that come, ready to drink and pre-packaged, people are really excited about it. And I have so many customers that come back in saying, "Yeah, I bought a six pack for myself and all my friends drank all of them. So now I'm back and I have to get more." So it's again, people are excited. It's something fun to talk about and it's something exciting.
One of the things that stands out a little bit for me is, having these out and about, or just, if you're at a party and there are kids around and
Hmm.
you have these, you're less likely to be concerned if any of the kids get into it and try it. Look, I mean, I was always looking for my dad's beer or, whatever bottles were open. And that's another thing, because I know parents are wanting to be cautious about
Yeah.
what they're offering and they don't realize they're offering it. Kids see what we're doing and they want to be like, oh, I want some of that too, regardless of what they think or know it is. Not the THC products, not the cannabis products,
Right.
but certainly I can leave this Joni out. I'm not worried, other than, a little bit of carbonation, and then that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, and listen too, there are rules in Pennsylvania where you have to be 21 to purchase anything that's mimicking an alcoholic beverage. So I, as a retailer, cannot sell, you know, even a 16-year-old non-alcoholic beer, which between you and me, I think is a little ridiculous. They're allowed to drink it, but I'm not allowed to sell it to them. But yeah, I mean, I think it's great too because we're also showing whether it's our kids or family friends or, in my case, my nieces that I'm hoping with this next generation, we're already starting to see it too. There's the pressure is off of drinking. There's so many more things that are interesting about us and our society and our culture outside of alcohol. So we're showing them that, you can make the choice that's right for you.
I almost think that that's a perfect way to end. Just the way you package that and explain that and presented that. You also do events. You mentioned a couple of them. Do you have any specific events that you want to highlight for people to come in and just have more of an experience?
Absolutely. So we are regularly updating our calendar. So you can go to wallacedrygoods.com and click on our event section to see. But we are hosting a just kind of a sober social event on Friday, April 11th. It's at the shop from 6:30 to 8:30. Your ticket includes three different non-alcoholic drinks. Also, any of ticketed event at the shop includes 10% off any of your purchases. But it'll be a great time whether you're sober or sober curious to just kind of chat and meet some people because a lot of it is about the community too. I mean, it's not talked about a ton, but when you stop drinking, there feels like there's less opportunity to socialize. So we wanted to, have a space for people to come together. And then the following week, actually, also on Friday, on April 18th, we are hosting an event with Joint and Field Day Herbals, where you actually get to create two of your own bath soaks using their incredible products. You mentioned CBD, you could throw some CBD in there as well, and then have some non-alcoholic cocktails while you do it. So we try to get creative, work with local businesses in the area to partner with them as well. But we'll have some more ticketed tastings and mixology classes coming up too.
Hey, Robin, who motivates you? Who inspires you?
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question. I feel like there's a lot right now. But honestly, this community has really given me new life. I mean, I don't talk about it a lot, but when I stopped drinking, a huge part outside of these products themselves that helped me stop doing that was the community of people, whether it was on Instagram or people I met through, discovering new brands that were out and about and living their life without alcohol. It showed me that, I could do that too. And I wouldn't necessarily have to feel like I was living a life half lived, which this, society can make you feel that way sometimes. So I'm motivated by them and by, the people that are looking for that example too. I want to show them that you can have just as full of a life, without alcohol as you can have with it, if not more.
I am so grateful for your vision, for taking your experiences and channeling them into these products and these brands. Where would you like to see Wallace Dry Goods or just the non-alcoholic or low ABV genre? Where would you like to see that go in the next couple of years?
I mean, honestly, and this sounds counterintuitive because this is my business, but I want it to be less of a conversation piece and more of just an everyday thing. You go to a bar and you can order a margarita low, no, or full proof. This is something that is out, on every restaurant menu and in everybody's home that it's just a normal, it's like, would you like, caffeine in your coffee or decaf? Like it just is an everyday kind of option. I would love for it to just be part of everyday options. But I think we're getting there. And like I said, I can't give the makers enough credit, but the product is living up to the ability to do that because, we couldn't do that before when all there was on offer was an orange juice with some seltzer water or maybe a Shirley Temple. But I'm a 40-year-old woman. I don't want a Shirley Temple.
Oh, really? Shirley Temple wanted a Shirley Temple.
I mean, from time to time, I'm not gonna lie, I like a Shirley Temple, but not as my only option.
Are there products right now, or are there things that you would love to see created that you could bring to market, or you would hope that somebody has that you could bring to your shop and offer?
That is a great question. I do think that there's opportunity for more drinks without carbonation, especially in the ready to drink category. Pathfinder, actually, you mentioned that at the top of the show. It's their Negroni is one of the only canned non-carbonated options that we have. And it's, you you never know what somebody needs until they come in and ask for it and you don't have it. But that's been happening more and more. I also think that bringing more mouthfeel in across the category. I think that I know that there are people continuing to work on that. For instance, in red wine, I really believe in the red wines that we have. I think that the flavor is really there, but to be 100% honest, it feels a little watery. So the more that we can kind of innovate the mouthfeel across the board, I think it's just going to be more and more successful. But I know I'm not the only one thinking that, and it's already happening.
I wonder in its infancy where things are. If it's, when you talk about red wine and you talk about aging and,
Mm.
as that impacts the flavor profile because you're pulling those sugars and those tannins out of the wood and you have the opportunity to do that, that might bring some more boldness and viscosity to what those red wines are.
Absolutely. And you make a really great point. Most of this product that I carry in the shop, it's like I think the oldest thing I have is 5 years old. It's wild how fast that this market is not only growing, but the innovation that's happening in it too. So while there is a lot of great product out there now, I think we also have to be patient and let it continue to catch up with the demand. I mean, this is what's happened just even in this last year since I opened the shop in January last year. It's come leaps and bounds, and I expect that that will continue to happen.
Let's clarify, other than maybe a good red wine, you're not selling things that are 5 years old. You're selling brands that are 5 years old.
Oh, yes. Brands, not product. We adhere to the expiration dates.
Robin, is there anything we haven't talked about on the podcast today? Anything you want listeners to know more about you or more about Wallace Dry Goods?
I'd love for everybody to come in and see it for themselves. It is something that I am incredibly proud of, and I know that there is something for everybody there. I'd love, whether you're coming into my non-alcoholic shop or maybe you're checking out the non-alcoholic Bar Palmina in Philadelphia, go in with an open mind because I think that you're going to find something that will work into your lifestyle and it might be a surprise.
On our fermented adventure, we are fans of breweries and cideries and meaderies and wineries and distilleries. But what you've done and what you've provided with these brands and partnering is given us access to a whole new adventure that we can experience. And I think for a lot of reasons, for health and just not wanting to have too many and wanting to be part of the crowd in terms of the enjoyment, you're giving that segment to us, you're the masses. So grateful for what you're doing, and it's a lot of hard work and effort, and some days you start out and you're like, is this going to be something that the community is going to want, because I'm spending a lot of money here. But thank you for all your hard work and thanks for your creativity. And one of the things I can share with the listener, and they should get this from our podcast today, is that talking to you is just so wonderful because you're passionate about the product. You're curious about the product and you want to just share this with people. And that beyond just seeing the bottles and the way you have the shop that you have, it's you. It's really you that draws people in to want to be part of that. How do I learn more? Give me that 6-pack I can make my own. Let me grab this wine. Show me how to make cocktails. Hurry up. It's you. And that's what you bring to this. So thank you so much. Thanks for being a friend of Fermented Adventure. We can't wait to see all the new things you have, all the creativity you have going on. And just thank you so much for all you're doing.
Thank you, Rich. That means a lot.
Cheers.
Cheers.